Let us start with Chapter 8, Economic Reforms. Today we are going to learn about the introduction of economic reforms and privatization. After India became independent, there were several major social and economic issues to be addressed for stabilizing the nation. It demanded adopting such an economic system that could uplift India's ruined economy, solve problems of widespread poverty, and provide employment to people. To achieve these objectives, the planners of independent India adopted mixed economy, that is, the mixed type of economic system with a major emphasis on socialist pattern of planning. By 1980s, many experts felt that the planning strategies adopted between 1947 and 1990 failed to attain the goals of economic growth and development. They believed the main reason for the failure was that the states imposed several unnecessary regulations on economic activities, which then restricted people from doing economic activities. This raised the need for bringing reforms in the economy to improve it. Another reason was that in the early 90s, the International Monetary Organization, that were controlled by the developed nations of the world, imposed a condition on India for providing monetary assistance. As per the condition, until India reduces its excessive and unnecessary control on the economic activities, it should not be provided any financial assistance. That means, those days the developed nations said that India will not get any economic benefit, or the other countries will not provide any financial assistance to our country unless and until they remove all the unnecessary control. So India had to remove it. India's imports were quite high compared to its exports. Again, this caused a several deficit in India's balance of trade. If import is high, then you are paying the other countries, and export means you are earning an income, whereas in India the import was high, so our money was going to other countries. So balance of trade was in a deficit situation, and India had to borrow a lot of foreign exchange from international institutions. Owing to these reasons, India reformed its economic policies in 1991. It also brought all the necessary institutional and regulatory changes needed for the reforms. The economic reforms focused on three major areas, namely liberalization, privatization, and globalization, LPG. So from which year the economic reforms of LPG were introduced in India? Then it is 1991. Which were the three economic reforms? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Let us learn about privatization. The process of privatizing publicly owned enterprises and hence increasing the size of private sector is called the policy of privatization. In India, the public sector enterprises are owned and managed by the state, that is government. Hence, privatization means process of transferring ownership of economic enterprises from public sector to private sector, either partially or fully. Now, the process of privatization can take place in the following ways. Through disinvestment, reducing the number of areas in which only public sector can invest and allow private sector to invest in those areas by establishing public-private partnership business. The first point is disinvestment. So let us learn the meaning and process of disinvestment. Disinvestment means the process wherein the state either reduces its share of investment in a public sector or withdraws its investment completely by selling its shares to the private sector. Let us learn the process of disinvestment. There are two aspects. First is complete disinvestment. The act of selling all the shares of the state in a public enterprise to the private sector is called complete disinvestment. Second is partial disinvestment. Here, the act of selling some share of the state in public enterprise to the private sector. For example, you are selling out 29% or 49% is called partial disinvestment. When the state transfers less than 51% share to private sector, it is called minor disinvestment. However, if the state transfers more than 51% of share to private sector, then it is called major disinvestment. Over and above owning public enterprises, the state also controls certain areas of investment. Also, the private sector was not allowed to invest in certain areas of strategic importance and public utility. However, after privatization in 1991, government opened most of these areas for the private sectors. These areas included banking, education, communication, transportation, etc. Both private as well as foreign companies were allowed to invest in these areas then. Presently, the state controls and does not allow private investment only in the few specific areas like atomic energy, certain mineral related to atomic energy, railway and defense. After independence, there was a significant rise in the number of public sector enterprises under the central government. However, after 1991, they did not rise much. On March 31st, 1951, there were only 5 public sector enterprises under central government. The number rose to 233 in 1990, 217 in 2010 and 300 in 2015. Even today, the process of disinvestment from old enterprise continues, and simultaneously the state also establishes new enterprises. Let us learn about globalization. The process of increasing a country's economic integration with the rest of the world by increasing trade in goods and services, increasing movement of physical and financial capital, increasing exchange of technology, and increasing investment between the countries is called globalization. The process of globalization can be done gradually, decreasing the policy controls and the restricts and slows foreign trade. Process of globalization in India. In 1991, IMF, International Monetary Fund, declared a list of several nations who have taken enormous loan from IMF. So the IMF forced those countries to globalize and upgrade the technologies and hence grow their nations. Until these countries did this, the IMF would not give any further loans. India was one of those countries. Hence, India had to relax its policies of providing undue protection to domestic industries from foreign competition. Thus began the process of globalization in India, and India allowed its people to conduct more trade with other nations. The process of globalization underwent the following systematic process. First, the import-export licensing policy was made simpler and easier. Before this, to take a license for import-export was a lengthy procedure as well as expensive. Now it has become simpler and easier. Second is, India became member of WTO, World Trade Organization, in 1995. By doing so, India had to abide the rules of world trade. Third, India began convertibility of Indian rupees into other currencies at market rate by gradually reducing conversion at the official rate. So the value of our currency was now determined by the means of trade and not by the government. Fourth, India achieved sector-wise systematic increase of foreign direct investment in India. Fifth, investors and producers in India were allowed to increase financial collaboration with their foreign counterpart. Sixth, India changed its policies and stopped giving undue protection to Indian investors and enterprises against foreign competition. Seventh, India strengthened its social and cultural ties with other nations. India also relaxed its policies of granting visas to people of other nations.